Hey everyone, before we dive into today's New Year's Eve disasters, I just wanted to thank to everyone who's been watching my videos since I started back on 1st of October. You've literally made my year. I hope your day is going way better than the people in these stories, and I hope I'll see you all again in 2026. Now, let's get into the chaos. Am I the a-hole for ruining my family's New Year's Eve by refusing to join the fun because I didn't want to be the designated driver again? Why do I feel like this keep happening to you all the time? Hey Reddit, I, 26 female, need some serious perspective. I'm starting to think I might be the but I still feel like I'm in the right, lol. Every New Year's Eve, my family has a big party at my aunt and uncle's house, and every year, without fail, I end up being the designated driver. I'm pretty sure there was a pretty good solution invented for this problem already. It's called a cab. I don't know why your family is expecting you every year to give up on your New Year's Eve celebration. But let's keep going. Don't get me wrong, I love my family, but it's starting to bug me. It's been like this since I was 19, even before I was legally allowed to drink. Your feelings are completely understandable. Even if you want to spend New Year's Eve somewhere else, completely valid. I don't drink much, maybe a glass of wine or a beer, but I don't get plastered. I'm fine with driving people home if they need it, but for the past few years, everyone expects me to not drink so I can drive them back. Every year is the same. Oh, can you drive? You're not drinking anyway. I always say yes because I don't want to let anyone down. The solution is so easy for this, and everybody could be happy. Fast forward to this year's New Year's Eve. I told my family ahead of time I wasn't going to be the designated driver anymore. Good, so you even gave them time to come up with another solution. I just wanted to enjoy the night, have a couple of drinks, and not be responsible for getting everyone home. I even told my cousin, who usually gets really sloshed, that I wasn't driving this year, and she was fine with it. When I got to the party, it was the usual chaos. People were drinking, laughing, and having a good time. I was enjoying myself, but around 11, my cousin came over and asked if I was ready to drive everyone home. I reminded her, I'm not driving tonight, I'm here to enjoy the party. She looked at me like I was crazy and said, "Come on, you always drive. Don't be a Like, WTF? I beg your finest pardon? See, this is the problem when you condition people to expect things from you. Now, it's not a favor anymore, it's an expectation. I tried to explain calmly that I wasn't being a just that I wasn't going to be the chauffeur anymore. Then my aunt overheard and pulled me aside. She lectured me saying, "We all agreed last year you'd be driving. You know how much we rely on you. Everyone else is too tipsy and Ubering is so unsafe. Isn't that unsafe, trying to force someone who drunk to drive you home? I'm pretty sure you have a better bet with Uber at this point. Just drive this one time, for the family. One time, right?" I felt a ton of pressure, but refused. I told her I'm not their chauffeur and wasn't going to do it again just because no one else could figure out their own ride. My aunt got upset, saying I was being selfish and that we are family. It is laughable how she's the one who's calling you selfish. She just told you that they decided last year that you're supposed to drive. A year ahead. It didn't even matter if you agreed or not. They decided. And you are the one being selfish? Right. She said, I'm the only one who doesn't get too drunk, so it makes sense for me to help out. I don't know where you are, but where I live, there is zero tolerance for drinking and driving. The fact that she's trying to pressure you is getting concerning. Just call that stupid cab lady. I told her I had already had 3 beers, so I wasn't even legally supposed to drive myself. That's when I snapped. I told them it's not my job to be their designated driver every year just because I'm the only one who doesn't get blackout drunk. They needed to figure out their own rides this time. Then I got up and left. After this, hopefully, this was the very last time they ever asked you to drive them. I felt bad walking out, but I didn't want to be a doormat anymore. I spent the rest of New Year's Eve at home watching Netflix and eating leftover pasta with my boyfriend. My family texted me, calling me dramatic, selfish, and saying I ruined the night. They said I was being super sensitive and that everyone was disappointed in me. Everyone's demanding an apology out of me even now. And by the way, I got home perfectly safe by Uber. But anyways, Reddit, am I the a-hole? You are absolutely not the a-hole. Your family's expectations are way too high towards you because you let them get away with this for way too long. The fact that your aunt was keep pressuring you after you told her you already drunk above the limit is insane. How is that safer than calling an Uber? In my opinion, you're not the a-hole, but let's get into the comment section. You are not the a-hole, your family is gross, but why didn't your boyfriend spend New Year's Eve with you? Not the a-hole, but it might be time to spend New Year's Eve with other people. Good advice there, OP, you should listen to this commenter. Not the a-hole, F them. I would have slammed a shot into my face and said, whoopsie. Good idea, maybe you should do that next time when you spend time with your family. Am I the a-hole for refusing to host New Year's? Throwaway. Me, 30 female, and my husband Jerry, 32 male, purchased a large house about a year ago. One thing you need to know about me is that I have severe social anxiety. I hate having people in my house. I feel like my home is a safe haven where I go to get away from other people. This has caused tension between Jerry and I in the past because he rarely gets to have friends over. That's weird. Didn't he know who he get married to? I am a pretty similar person to you, OP, so I can understand it. In my opinion, other people aren't entitled to our house, but I do try to compromise for Jerry. The incident. New Year's is coming up soon and my family was talking about what they wanted to do to celebrate. The topic of where the annual New Year party would be hosted came up. I guess since I now own a house, my family members just assumed that I would be hosting this year. Why would anyone assume anything like that? Also, isn't your family know who you are? Assuming that someone with severe social anxiety would want to host a party is absurd. When this assumption was brought to my attention, I immediately shut it down. I explained to them that I'm not gonna host a whole party just because I own a house. They all proceeded to jump down my throat and call me selfish for refusing to host. Even Jerry is on their side. He said that I'm acting very inconsiderate and I'm being unfair because all of my other family members live in tiny apartments. He also told me that I'm always undermining his position in the home and he should have a say in what goes in the house too. Everyone is telling me that I need to get a grip on reality and stop being such a recluse. Am I the a-hole? In my opinion, there are two sides that matters here. People need to educate themselves and understand that social anxiety is not a joke. It's not just a quirky personality trait, it's serious. At the same time, you also need to understand your husband's point of view, just as much as your husband has to understand your circumstances. You guys are a team, you're supposed to deal with things together. Maybe a New Year's Eve party would be too big for you to start on, but try to have 2 or 3 people over once in a while, so your husband's need also would met. Let's see what the commenters think. Everybody sucks here. Your family doesn't get a say, but your husband does. It's not fair to him that he doesn't get to host gatherings almost ever. You need to compromise. Just as it's not fair that OP has social anxiety. They both need to compromise. Not the a-hole. A party at your house needs to be a conversation between you and your husband, not your family telling you to throw a party. It's your husband's home too, so you need to discuss a compromise so that you have your safe space and he can have people over. 100%. It can be fixed, you guys just need to compromise with each other. Everybody sucks here. It feels like you and Jerry should have resolved this before marriage and certainly before buying a house together. Let's hope the best that they are gonna be able to resolve it now. Am I the a-hole for making a scene on New Year's? Today my mom was hosting a small New Year's Day lunch at our house. I, 25 female, still live in my childhood home. This lunch was planned well in advance and so was the menu. Important background info is that I recently had a surgery that prohibits me from eating specific foods. I hope you're feeling better now, OP. My mom knows this and we even visited the doctor and got advice on what could we make for me to eat instead. We agreed on what we were going to make and that was it. Or so I thought. Yesterday, I was preparing dinner and my mom asked me what I was having tomorrow, and I reminded her of what we had agreed. She replied that she can't make that food only for me specifically. She'd have to make enough for everyone, which would be too much effort and unnecessary since we were already having 5 other main dishes. You are joking me, right? When the doctor says you can't do or eat something specifically, it's not a suggestion. I reminded her that I cannot eat any of the dishes, so it isn't unnecessary, and that we could just make enough for me. Realistically, it would take 15 to 20 minutes to make a single serving, and we already have all the ingredients on hand, we just have to thaw them. I reminded her our guests were literally my brothers, grandpa, and my brother-in-laws, which are literally family. I offered to make them myself, but she dismissed me, said she was going to figure it out, and left the room. Today, I was in the kitchen making breakfast when she comes in and asked me what I was going to have for lunch. Apparently nothing. I looked at her and asked what she was talking about. She said that she hadn't prepared anything that I can have, nor did she thaw out any chicken or fish for me. I'm really struggling with food right now and not being able to eat any of my favorite foods. And having all of those smells in the kitchen, knowing I had nothing to eat for our New Year family lunch, it's a yearly tradition, really triggered me. It's very upsetting for sure. I started crying and left the room, and she rolled her eyes at me. I think it's time to move out, Opie. My brother and sister-in-law tried to console me, and we tried to look up for places we could order some takeout, but nothing was open. I ended up boiling 2 eggs and tried to sit at the table while everyone was eating. My grandfather didn't know about the situation and asked me, "Why are you just eating eggs? That's not a proper lunch for New Year's." That triggered me again, and I replied that I didn't want to just eat eggs, but my mom didn't care enough to make sure I had something I could eat. Apparently, 20 minutes of effort were too much, but going to 4 different supermarkets to find a specific brand of ingredient was not. When they left, I asked my mom why didn't she prepare something for me, or at least let me know so I could prepare something for myself. She just went off on me saying that I embarrassed her in front of our in-laws and that I should be ashamed for making people think that she's a bad mother. I mean, if the shoe fits. Did she think that people wouldn't notice that you only eat boiled eggs? Not preparing you food wasn't something she could just have hide. I don't really understand her logic. My brothers, sister-in-law, and my friends are all on my side, but now she's crying and saying I ruined New Year's for her and I can't help but feel guilty. So Reddit, am I the a-hole? No, you're not the a-hole, but at the same time, you need to move out. I feel like her behavior has a deeper meaning than just to create an extra dish. I cannot imagine in 1,000 years that my mom would behave like this. I don't think most moms would. I hope you feel better after your surgery and soon to be able to have all your favorite foods. Not the a-hole, she is a bad mother. She didn't want to factor in your diet at all, even though it was planned and discussed. Wouldn't even let you make your own meal. What is going on here? Yeah, exactly. You even told her that you could make it for yourself. Not the a-hole. You did not make her look like a bad mother. She is a bad mother for not at least telling you she did not have time to make another dish. For me, it was the eye rolling when Opie cried. Not the a-hole. What she did wasn't fair to you in the slightest. She could have at least told you sooner, so you could have made it yourself. Exactly. I hope Opie has a better living situation after all of this. I hope you guys are ready for the last story of the year. Am I the a-hole for not doing our New Year's fireworks early so our neighbors' kids can stay up and see it? I feel like no, but let's see the story. My husband and I do a fireworks show every year for New Year's. We get a whole bunch of them, set up our firework racks, and plan out the timing of them so it gradually gets larger until the finale. It's been a nice thing that our friends and family comes together to do, and people in our neighborhood enjoy it as well, since our town doesn't have a fireworks show. Yes, it does. In your garden. It also saves them from having to deal with fireworks themselves and making the trip to get the fireworks as they are not allowed to be sold in our country. So my husband, son, and our nephew make the trip to go get them a couple of weeks before. Our neighbors were out with their kids riding bikes yesterday afternoon and came up to us as we were setting it up to ask what time we would be doing them. Midnight. Duh. We tell them we start our show a little before 12, so the big fireworks are going off as the ball drops. The mom asks if we could do them earlier, like 8 or 9, so their kids could see them because they can't stay up that late. Absolutely not. How people even have the audacity to ask something like this? The world does not revolve around you or your kids. I wouldn't even think to ask something like this from my neighbors. My husband explained that that's when our friends and family are expecting it. She then asks if we could do some of them earlier. Oh my god, no. Go and get some fireworks yourself and set them up for your kids earlier then. I know my husband really doesn't want to because he has the timing all planned out with the fireworks we have and gets stressed when things are unplanned. No is a full sentence. He hesitates replying though because he hates confrontation. So I just tell her that's not going to work for us. I can see their kids are really disappointed, but I can also tell my husband's relieved I took over. Just want to add that it's illegal to set them off in our country. People just can't sell them there. Hopefully they won't call the police on you if it's illegal to have fireworks. But you're not the a-hole. Some people really need to learn what does no mean. Not the a-hole. If they want to shoot off some rockets with their little children, they can totally buy some for themselves. It's not your job to accommodate them. Exactly. Not the a-hole. Your fireworks at the end of the day. You do as you please with them. Not your fault that they don't let their kids stay up for them. Not the a-hole. Who are these people who want to make demands of other people's time and traditions? Thank you for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you. I wish you an amazing New Year's Eve and see you in 2026.